think it's time that we take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back and we're doing yet again another tier list video, but this time I feel like we should take a different approach. In my past ranking videos, I spent a lot of time ranking the best and worst characters on the different networks, right? But by and large, most of the characters that I ranked were on shows that were still currently airing, and I felt like it would be such a disservice, right? To say that I've successfully ranked shows on Netflix and on other platforms without actually taking the time to rank the shows that are no longer with us. Now, you don't have to be a hardcore TV or pop culture fan to know that streaming services, specifically Netflix, cancel a lot of shows. And a lot of times those shows aren't necessarily bad. In fact, a lot of them are really good, and it's really shocking as to why a lot of them get canceled. Oftentimes these shows are really groundbreaking or experimental or don't really fit the typical mold that you think of when you think of a typical show on a streaming service. And because these shows are generally so out the box and not conventional, they don't initially have the viewership required to actually get picked up for further seasons, and or there's just production drama going on behind the scenes that stunt the show's longevity. But regardless, some of the best hits on Netflix and other streaming services are from the shows that have been canceled. So in this video, we're gonna go through some of your and my favorites and rank them just for one last good old time. Because honestly, some of these, we need them to come back. So Netflix, HBO, Hulu, and Peacock, if you're watching this, you know, maybe do a little something, right? Do a little something. But before we get into all that, if you are new to the channel and like all things TV, pop culture, fashion, and commentary, be sure to hit that subscribe button down here somewhere. Also, while you're at it, you can check out my other social medias at Imurgency. That is Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And just make sure before you go, maybe even right now, to leave a like on this video because it helps out so much with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into this tier list, shall we? So as you can see, we have a small but mighty list of shows that have been canceled. I have not gotten everything. I did ask y'all in my community tab section to give me a list of your favorite shows that have been canceled, and y'all really showed up and showed out. I have not seen a lot of them, I am not going to lie to you. But I try to have a good mix of shows that I have seen and shows that I haven't seen, and some of these aren't specific to Netflix, but most of them are. So yeah, and we're gonna break this whole thing up into 5 different tiers. Starting from the very top, we have shows that need to come back ASAP. That's what the little demon emoji's for the little ASAP. Right, like these shows are honestly just a cut above the rest. Like they need to be reinstated immediately. Like it's not just like, oh wow, I really missed that show. It's like this show deserves to literally be on air as we speak. So yeah, that's the top tier. And then one grade below that is the it's a crime that this was canceled tier. Now this still has very much similar energy as the previous tier, but this one doesn't necessarily need to come back. It just means that the people that decided to take the show off air need jail time, right? And I feel like that's a really fair judgment and assessment, but you know, that might just be me. And then below that, we feel a little bit more lukewarm about the whole situation, and I still think about this one a lot tier. Like this tier I get really emotional about, like I'm sad that it's gone. Don't necessarily need it back, but it's like one of those things you're like, damn, that was a moment. That was really a moment in time. I wish I had that moment again. Then a tier below that, we have the kinda had it coming tier, not gonna lie. And this tier, maybe there's a reason why this show was canceled. I'm not gonna lie. This tier is for shows that I personally wasn't a huge fan of. They were good for their time, but you know, maybe Netflix was onto something, you feel me? And then the last tier isn't necessarily the shadiest. I feel like usually with these, the last tier is like the most diabolical. No, not this time. This is just for shows that I haven't seen, because I don't feel like it would actually be fair to put the shows on any other tier if I haven't actually seen it, because I don't want to upset any stand-ups here. I'll get to watching them eventually, I promise, but just not now. But with that out of the way, let's start ranking these shows. So the first show that we have here is First Kill. Oh, that's a little funny. I might have done that on purpose. I made a full review on First Kill a while ago, in which I said that the show was kind of cringe and not the best quality, but was still entertaining throughout. And I feel like I still stand by that, like it's still very much the case. But I feel like what people, and especially executives, fail to realize is that not every show needs to be a banger, you know? Not every show needs to be like this cinematic masterpiece. Like sometimes we just need content that is easy to watch, has a solid followable plot, but doesn't even really need to be the best at what it does, you feel me? And I feel like nowadays there's like this sort of prestige with shows where it needs to be like this award-winning, really deep storytelling project, when really we don't need all that. It's okay to have content that's sole purpose is just to be entertaining. you know? And especially when it comes to sapphic content, I feel like the industry is so harsh with its criticisms and holds sapphic media to a sort of unrealistic standard, especially when compared with gay media. Like, I feel like streams-wise, First Kill was on par or around the same ballpark as Heartstopper when it first came out. So yeah, just looked it up, and First Kill actually did more numbers and statistically outperformed Heartstopper, but still ended up getting canceled. And this is just one of the more highly visible cases of this, like, because oftentimes when it comes to sapphic shows and sapphic media, they just get canceled after one season, or they inevitably do get canceled, which is just so unfortunate and so unfair, because at the end of the day, that's representation for people that you're just kind of throwing out. And no shade to Heartstopper at all, y'all know I love that show. I just think that people should keep the same energy for sapphic shows and sapphic media, because it's just as important, and it's also representation for people. And then just speaking for the show as a whole, I enjoyed watching. It was a mess through and through, but I loved watching that mess. It was giving me very much like My Babysitter's a Vampire vibes, and I really loved that show growing up just because it was so campy and like out there, while also having this sort of like dark undertone. Like, I really enjoyed the show for what it was, and I wish that it would get a season 2. And I think that it solidly was a crime that this show was canceled. Like, there needs to be an investigation as to why this show was actually canceled and not renewed for season 2, even though it performed so well in week 1. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Moving on to 1899. I heard that people really loved this show. Actually, I heard two things. I heard that people either loved the show or hated the show. I personally have not seen it, so I don't really have any opinions on it. Apparently it was nominated for a Critics' Choice Television Award, so period. But yeah, this type of show generally isn't my thing off rip. I'd have to get into it, but yeah, I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Next up is a fan favorite for everyone, and that is Grand Army. Now, Grand Army came at us in a time where we needed it most. I remember watching Grand Army during the quarantine era, and this show really just got me through. Again, this is another show that I made a full review on, and I just really liked the realism of it. Like, this just felt like I was watching a documentary, of course a dramatized documentary of just like Gen Z high school kids' lives, and it was really fun to watch. Like, the characters were really engaging. There was a lot going on, and not everyone was made to be super likable, but it wasn't done in a way where it was annoying, just more so like flawed human being type beat. And I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was going to get a season 2 because it left off on a cliffhanger. But apparently that was just wishful thinking. And I'm really sad that this show didn't get picked up, because I feel like it definitely could have become one of Netflix's bigger hits if it had the chance to develop more in a season 2. And really, I'm just upset that we don't get more Dom content, because I miss her and her friends. I miss her and her relationship. I miss the girls. No one's doing it like them anymore. It's really upsetting. In this case, I'm really in between putting it in needs to come back ASAP, and it was a crime that it was canceled. I really think it's been a while, and we've gotten to a point where we've accepted that this show was canceled. So in that case, I'll put it in it's a crime that it was canceled. Like, it was, yeah. But I won't say that it needs to come back ASAP. Like, it can come back next year. It just doesn't need to be on right now. And you'll understand what I mean once I get through the rest of this list. Next up is not a Netflix show, in fact it's an HBO show, and it is Doom Patrol. Now, if you've not seen Doom Patrol, I recommend that you do. However, I've been working through it myself. In fact, I just got onto season 4, and I didn't realize that season 4 was where it abruptly ended. Doom Patrol did a lot of things for me. Like, it was an interesting concept because it's like a superhero show, but it's also really crude in like sort of a Family Guy way, but gory and real in a like The Boys kind of way. I enjoyed watching it, but I kept getting caught up in the fact that seasons 1 through honestly 3 and parts of season 4 all just felt so similar. Like, a lot of the plot points and a lot of the character arcs were just kind of repeated season after season. Like, of course there would be some form of development, but I guess they were trying to go through the whole like damaged hero trope where they're obviously flawed and traumatized, and they want to show that like realistically dealing with your trauma is in a linear fashion, which is real, and I understand, but I feel like it gets really hard to watch after 3 seasons of people dealing with the same exact issues, having the same exact plot points, saying like, oh, I can't do this because of this, and hearing that over and over and over again. I feel like it'd be different, and I feel like that's sort of the draw of the show in a certain aspect, because it's showing superheroes in this flawed state, which is something that we don't normally see. But I realize why we don't necessarily see that, because it's kind of drawing to see that, and it kind of got boring for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I have to take breaks when I'm watching Doom Patrol. Like, that's the reason why I haven't finished it. Like, I need to watch a couple episodes, take like a week or a couple weeks off before I can start again, because I will just get bored. I'm sad that it actually did get canceled, because it did seem pretty high budget. Like, a lot of the special effects are really good and really well done, as well as the acting. Like, Jane from Doom Patrol is my absolute favorite, because honestly I feel like she's the most talented actor on that set, because she plays so many characters in just one character. Like, she's literally like 20 characters on this show and plays them all well, but that's neither here nor there. There's a little bit of a challenge here when I'm trying to place it on this list, because I don't think that it needs to come back ASAP. If I'm keeping it at $150, like, I don't think it was a crime that it was canceled. I think about it a lot, but that's because I'm still currently watching it, so I'm not sure if after I finish it, I'm just gonna not think about it anymore. And I don't know if it had it coming because it is kind of repetitive. I'll put it in I think about it a lot. I still think about this a lot. Yeah, I'll put it there. It'll stay there for right now. But next up, following the HBO trend is Generation. And I made multiple videos on Generation. I feel like Generation walked so that the reboot of Heartbreak High could run. Again, another really real show of just like Gen Z teens just doing their thing and also having their stories be written in a way that is very Gen Z. Of course, there were some hits and misses, but it by and large was doing a lot better than a lot of other shows when it comes to Gen Z representation. I think when it comes to the show's execution, splitting it up into 2 parts and splitting it up in the way that it did kind of did hinder it a little bit, because the first half definitely was not as strong or cohesive as the second half. But if they either launched together or as a week by week basis, I feel like it would have been a more cohesive hit and people would have enjoyed it more just because it would have made more sense together. But Generation was good. It was telling a lot of different stories and all of them were really impactful and also did push the needle further in terms of representation for the queer community, the reality behind teen pregnancy, and as well as some of the realities of Gen Z dating. And like I said, I feel like this show opened up a space for a lot of other shows to kind of run with. Now that I know the audience is there, it's just a shame that, you know, Generation had to be on the chopping block for all of that to happen. So for that, I'd say that it was a crime that this one was canceled. A little less of a crime than Grand Army and First Kill, but a crime nonetheless. Yeah. Next up, wow, did I just put all these HBO shows back to back? I might have. That's crazy. But next up, Gossip Girl. We literally just talked about Gossip Girl on this channel. If you haven't seen that video, you should go check that out. But Gossip Girl, I want it to come back. Like, it was setting itself up to be so good, and that last episode was so good in my opinion. Like, I understand why it got canceled. So I'm thinking about putting it in Kinda Had It Coming because the girls by and large really hated this show. And season 2 flopped in comparison to season 1, but I feel like that was also the fault of HBO just a little bit. But I miss it. I really do miss it. I miss the show. I miss watching it week to week. I miss the drama. I miss seeing Monet. I miss seeing Luna. I miss the drama of the throuple. Like everyone on the show was problematic and dramatic, and it was really a frustrating watch, but I feel like in a similar vein to First Kill, like it was a fun watch. It didn't necessarily need to be the best written. It didn't need to be coming for any awards, but it was still very entertaining and well done, if that makes sense. I'm really torn. This is also a really fresh wound because it literally just got canceled like last month. So don't hate me. It was a crime. It was a crime that it was canceled, but it was the highest crime so far. I feel like it was a very high crime that it was canceled. Like, I miss this show a lot. I really do. Next up, a show that we've actually ranked before and a show that y'all have been asking me to review for a while. Half Bad, or The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself. I feel like it also kind of gives like a First Kill vibe where like it was kind of cut off before it got the chance to actually cook, like let it cook type beat. The first season was fun. I was really pissed at the ending of the season though. Like I feel like it ended very weakly, but I feel like it set up stuff where season 2 could really launch off of that and be a really great show. But it wasn't given that chance because I don't think it got that kind of attention, which is really unfortunate. And I feel like it did start to get like a cult following, but they didn't give it enough time to cook. Like it got canceled too soon. I also said that this was a crime that it was canceled. I want it back. I really did enjoy this show, but yeah, it was a crime that it was canceled. Yeah. Next up is a highly requested one from y'all, and y'all have been asking me to watch this for literal years, and this is another one where I just haven't gotten around to it, and that is I'm Not Okay With This. I'm gonna look up a summary, at least so we have a base understanding for what the show's about. Sydney is a teenage girl navigating the trials and tribulations of high school while dealing with the complexities of her family, her budding sexuality, and the mysterious superpowers that began to awake within her. Wait, yeah, this sounds really interesting. Like, I have to watch this because I'm kind of sent. They look like they got a lot going on here, and it looks like it's giving superpowers and gay shit, and those two things by themselves are going to sell it for me, but together, we might have a hit on our hands, and I feel like I'm going to get more upset about this being canceled than I currently am now because I haven't watched it. So for right now, it's in the haven't seen category, but it looks good. I'm gonna have to hit this up afterwards. Next up, The Midnight Club, and I feel like this is going to be really controversial. I feel like people are gonna hate me for this. I wasn't a big fan of The Midnight Club. I think it was supposed to be a limited series, but I heard, let me confirm. Yeah, it did get canceled. I feel really bad because I feel like a lot of people really love this show. I personally wasn't drawn in. Like, I was waiting for it to really get interesting for me, but it never really picked up, in my opinion. But a lot of people love this show. I feel really bad. You're gonna wanna send me to the pit. I think The Midnight Club had it coming. Damn, I'm feeling the rage. I'm feeling the anger. Let's sit in that for a second. Let's stew in that for a second. Ready? We're resonating with our emotions, and then we're letting it go. We're moving on. All right. Let's talk about Lovecraft Country. Because Lovecraft Country, this show was a hit. If you have not seen Lovecraft Country, especially now that it's Black History Month, you are doing yourself a disservice, and I'm looking at you sideways. Because this show was a hit. I was late to the game. I honestly was late to the game. Like, I watched it well after it was canceled, and I was bamboozled. Like, this show from top to bottom, the storytelling, the acting, the special effects, the general like plot, like it was a 10 out of 10, and I was so shocked that it got canceled. Like, it could have gone so many other places, it could have grown so much, but it just was cut short. And this is honestly the first show on this list that I have to say, without a doubt, needs to come back ASAP because I miss it. And I know it will never come back ASAP, especially, what's his name? Hold on. Especially since Jonathan Majors is signed to Marvel for the next 10 or so years. We're not getting a Lovecraft Country reboot, and I'm so sad about that because it was a hit. It was a hit. Damn. Like, no Ice Spice, but damn. Ugh. Okay, next show, Anne with an E. Y'all also really love this one. Y'all also were telling me to watch this one, and a lot of people were saying that they really said that the show was canceled. This is yet again another one that I have not yet seen. I'll do it the same justice that I did I'm Not Okay With This, and I'm gonna look up the synopsis really quick. Oh, it's Canadian. Purr. The adventures of a young girl living in the early 19th century follow Anne as she learns to navigate her new life on Prince Edward Island in this new take on the L.M. Montgomery classic novels. Oh, it's a rendition piece. Okay. Period. I'm not huge on period pieces, but I will have to give this a shot. But for right now, I just have not seen it, so let's go in the have not seen. Next up, Q-Force. If you have not seen Q-Force, I am either saying I'm sorry or you're welcome. Because this show was doing a lot. It was funny. It was funny down because the synopsis of Q-Force is basically like this collective of queer spies, and they're trying to take down something. I forget the overall plot, but the main thing is that they're all queer, and it gets crazy. Like, I knew when I was watching this, like, this won't be here for a long time. This is here for a good time, but not a long time. And for that, I have to say that it kind of had it coming. Like, for context, one of the main characters' names was Twink. Like, anyways, moving on. Raising Dion, I feel like was done so dirty. Raising Dion was good. I wasn't expecting it to be so good, but it continuously got better. It got better, it got worse, and it got better. Like, I feel like season 1 was really good. Season 2 was good up until the end, but also had Rome Flynn in it. And that was the thing that that was carrying it for me. Like, how are you gonna introduce Rome Flynn and then cancel it after only one season? Like, why are we only getting one season of Rome Flynn? Like, that's upsetting to me and my homegirls. You are wrong for that, and for that, it was a crime that was committed. Other than that, Raising Dion was very good. I really enjoyed Raising Dion. I liked seeing his powers. Dion as a character was really fun to watch. And you don't get many, like, live action child superhero shows anymore. That seems like something that was really done in, like, the early 2010s and teens, but not so much anymore. So it was really refreshing to see, but I'm sad to see that it's gone, and it's a crime that it was canceled. Yeah. Next up, I feel like all the highly anticipated canceled shows that y'all are really passionate about, I just have not seen, because why have I not seen Julie and the Phantoms? But why was everyone saying, Julie and the Phantoms was done dirty? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Hold on. Julie is a teenage girl who finds her passion for music and life with the help of a high concept band of teen boys who have been dead for 25 years. Oh, wow. Julie in turn helps them become the band they were never able to be. Oh, wow. This seems like a Disney show. Down. Like, this is Disney. This is giving Disney. And I'm here for it. Like, I'm looking at a little bit of the trailer now. Period. It's giving Disney vibes. And I love that, but I just have not seen it, so I cannot rank it. I am so sorry. But I acknowledge you, Julie and the Phantoms. Period. This next show. If you know anything about me, and you know my favorite show ever, you would know how I feel about this one. Sense8 is my absolute favorite television show I've ever watched. Like, it literally changed my life when I saw it. It opened up my mind. It expanded my horizons. It's just wow. It's literally just wow. Like, Sense8 is so good. So good. And I think about it literally every single day. Like, when I think of canceled Netflix shows, it's only 2 that I really hold near and dear to my heart. It is Sense8 and The Society. And it needs to come back ASAP. I'm sorry. It needs to come back ASAP. Like, if you have not seen it, watch it. Please, watch it. It's good. I promise you, it is so good. Next up is The Imperfects, and The Imperfects was a sleeper flop. Like, you know how there's like sleeper hits? This is a sleeper flop because it got canceled. It was good. I enjoyed The Imperfects. I really like The Imperfects. I don't think a lot of people watched the show, which is why it got canceled, but it was good. It, again, was another superpower kind of show. Like, these 3 teens get injected with some stuff that gives them superpowers, and they're trying to fight the guy who gave it to them, and then they're trying to fight the government who's trying to fight the guy that gave it to them. It's a lot, but it's good. I think it's really well done. I'm really sad that it didn't get a 2nd season, but I knew when I was watching, I'm like, yeah, this one probably won't do the numbers that it probably should, because I don't think it was marketed very heavily. You know? So for that, I loved it. I loved it. I really did love it. But I think it kind of had it coming. But I think it's the highest part of kind of had it coming. I'm sad it's gone though. I really am. I'm sorry, the Imperfects. Y'all deserve so much better. Next up, The Order. And I really like The Order. I really enjoyed watching The Order. I was very upset that it got canceled. But honestly, I can't remember much about it outside of the fact that I liked it. Damn. What's that say about it? Like, it was good for its time, and I wish that it had a longer time, but I can't say that I still think about it. You feel me? Like, I don't know. It kind of had it coming, I guess. It doesn't fit in any of the other categories, so it kind of had it coming. I'll say that. I'll leave it at that, period. The OA. I've only watched 2 episodes of The OA, and I assume since people really love the show that it gets better after the first 2 episodes, like it picks up a little bit more. But for me, it was a little slow. It got really slow for me. And I was kind of expecting more initially. I think because the time it was releasing was when a lot of other shows were releasing were kind of big, that I just didn't get around to watching it, and I feel really bad about that. So like, I really want to rank this, but I don't feel like I've given it enough of a shot. So I'm gonna put it in the highest tier of have not seen. Yeah, I'll put it there for now. Y'all, let me know in the comments if you're an OA stan. Let me know when it starts picking up, when it starts getting more interesting, because those first 2 episodes were really slow for me. Like, really, really slow, and I want to like the show really bad, but it took some time to get there, and I just didn't have that time, you feel me? Warrior Nun. I recently watched Warrior Nun. I just recently watched Warrior Nun, and I'm so pissed that it got canceled because they set up such an amazing comeback for season 3. It could have been so good. Let's start there. It needs to come back ASAP. The little reveal they did at the end, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it for people that haven't seen it. If you haven't seen Warrior Nun, then you should definitely go watch. It's a lot of fun. It's more interesting than it sounds like. When you initially hear Warrior Nun, you're like, what the hell is that? You know? But it's a lot better than it sounds, and it's a lot better than what it's advertised to be. Because I feel like its trailers and stuff do not do it justice. This was a quality show, and I'm really sad that it got canceled. And it does follow the theme of like First Kill, where like sapphic shows kind of just get. And it's ironic because it's right after, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you've seen it, they canceled it right after, you know, things go down, which is really interesting because when Homegirl presumably, you know, it was good, we got another 2nd season, but the second that she started being a little, then it got cut. If you know, you know. If you know, you know, and it's just really sick to me. Fate Winx Saga. I'll move that right there. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. The last and honestly most highly anticipated one, the one that everyone really thinks of when they think of a canceled Netflix show, The Society. We already know where this is gonna go. We do. Let's take a guess. Out of these categories, where are we going to put The Society? Haven't seen? No, because everyone's damn seen it. Had it coming. Are you dumb? I still think about this a lot. Duh, who doesn't? It was a crime that this was canceled, put lightly. This one needs to come back ASAP, as in yesterday. Like, this one is at the top of the top. I'm sorry, top of the top. The Society needs to come back because this show had such a unique premise. It was so interesting. Like, the dynamics, the characters, the plot, the mystery of it all was just so good, and I was so shocked that it got canceled. Even after the fact, it's clear that it has a fan base. It has a clear fan base, but somehow it's still canceled. Like, bring that shit back, you feel me? Like, everyone wants it back. Like, it clearly has the drive for it. I've seen plenty of petitions that have gotten plenty of signatures to bring the show back, but yet it still hasn't. Like, this show was honestly a gem. I feel like if it came out during the time of like the Hunger Games specifically, like that whole Divergent Hunger Games era, this would have been huge. It would have never gotten canceled. It just came out a little bit too late for that, but it's still really good. It's still really good, and it is a hit. It is a hit every single damn time. Whew. And it's the only show that I've fully rewatched and been fully enthralled the entire time as if I've never seen the show before. So yeah, The Society needs to come back ASAP. But yeah, this is my list, y'all. I feel like it's pretty well distributed. There aren't many shows that I just think about a lot, which I found very interesting. They're either a crime, I haven't seen them, or they need to come back ASAP. And I really love that. I love that. But now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on all this? I'll leave a link to this tier list so you can fill it out yourself in the description below. But what do you think about this? Did I miss any of your favorite shows that have been canceled? Would you have put these shows in different categories? I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comments below. But that's it for me, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. button, leave a like on this video, follow me on my socials at Imurgency, and other than that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.